Hey, and welcome to this Woman Wednesday edition of Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. I'm John Tobacco. Just past the top of the hour, high noon Eastern here in New York. Coming to you as we do every day from the Question Tequila Studios. And today we were high above Midtown Manhattan at the Newsmax headquarters studios right here. It's wonderful. We are fortified. And do we have a whale of a show for you today? Because when it's Women Wednesday, we only have women on the show. And we get only women's perspectives. And more often than not, it's much better than the men on this show. Before we get to the great action-packed lineup we have for you today, let's check in down on the New York Stock Exchange downtown at the NYSE. The market is still holding that 27,000 level, trading as we speak at 27,300, just off about 30 points. There's some consolidation in here. I have a feeling, based on some of the recent shipping indexes, are saying that package deliveries across the world are down. There seems to be a global slowdown in consumer spending, and I think that might just be enough for the Fed chair to say he's going to cut rates, and I think that's going to happen potentially any day this week, but definitely before the end of this month. My prediction is he'll cut rates and the market will rocket. I'd like to see it hold this 27,000 level through Friday, and any good news will put it higher. In my view, we'll have Annette, Raynor, an expert, registered investment advisor, and wonderful educational coach on how to invest, talk to you all about this. She'll probably tell you everything I'm saying is wrong, but we'll get to that in a minute. And on the Bitcoin front, beware. We talk about Bitcoin every day, cryptocurrencies. Very important thing to learn about, make yourself aware of, see if it's suitable for you. Traded as high as 13,000, coming up from 8,000, so there was a huge bump there. Donald Trump came out and said that cryptocurrencies he's not a fan of. They're built out of thin air. Now Congress is calling the Facebook people in front of them to testify about the Libra coin. And with all this negative pub out there, Bitcoin's been getting smacked around a bit, down from 13,000 to just under 10. I'd like to see it get above 10. That seems to be the consolidation level if it's going to go to higher prices. But stay very nimble, because there's a trapdoor here. This thing flew from 8 to 13, and if it breaks through 9, it could break down a lot lower. And when you're breaking down and you need to be fixed, you bring in your co-host and your managing editor of Liquid Lunch TV. Frankie Morano is here. Frank, good morning.
Well, thank you, John. We are talking about all sorts of things that you're going to be hearing about in the news, but you'd never know. There are new asylum rules. There is all sorts of stuff happening economically, because apparently the biggest story in the world is President Trump versus the group they call the Squad. That is the subject I'll be speaking frankly about. Now, I can understand why people don't like Donald Trump, but there's two things that President Trump's critics get repeatedly wrong. One is this notion that he's a racist. If he's a racist, he's the only racist I know of that brags about how many jobs he's created for black people and the incredible percentage of the vote that he's gotten among Hispanic voters. Racists usually don't tend to do things like that. The other thing that so many of the president's critics tend to get wrong about him is that he's dumb. He's not. Believe it or not, so much of what the president does is strategic, which leaves us wondering what was behind this tweet that everybody's been talking about from last Sunday, where he told 4 members of Congress, all American citizens, 3 of whom are born right here in America, to go back to their country of origin. Well, what's their country of origin? Westchester, the Bronx, Massachusetts? So why would somebody that is not racist and somebody that does think so strategically put out tweets like these? This is what nobody seems to have understood clearly. Here's the dirty little secret about the current incarnation of the Democratic Party. The House Democrats are made up mostly not of people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar. Believe it or not, the overwhelming majority of freshman House Democrats are veterans of the military, people that served in the CIA, Wall Street people, and prosecutors. Now, that's not exactly the Democratic Party that Donald Trump wants to run against. So by portraying the Democratic Party as Omar Ocasio-Cortez and Presley, he's creating the image that this group, which is led by Wall Streeters, prosecutors, and veterans, is actually a militant group of young socialists, which is not the case at all. Now, they gave as good as they got on CBS this morning. Take a look at this.
What did you think when you heard the tweet?
I'm dealing with the biggest bully I've ever had to deal with in my lifetime, and trying to push back on that and trying to do the job that we all have been sent here to do, which is centered around the people at home. This is a distraction.
This is a distraction, but unfortunately, the president's strategy just might work. Now, sometimes racial dog whistles do work. We saw that with Strom Thurmond's campaign in 1948 and George Wallace's campaign in 1968. But my hope is that rather than try to drive up turnout among his base by portraying Democrats as left-wingers who hate America, he should reach out to those Obama-Trump voters in states like Wisconsin and Michigan that voted for Obama twice and then voted for Trump. Hammer the economy, hammer trade issues, hammer cultural issues like the national anthem. There's no need for the president to go take the least common denominator road. I wish the president would do now what he did after the Access Hollywood tape and apologize. I'm not holding my breath, but we'll get a preview when he does his rally in Greenville, South Carolina tonight.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Frank. The Frankly Speaking is brought to you every day by Frank. But now that we got all that out of the way, we're talking about the squad. I call them the JV squad. But we got the varsity team here now. We have Annette Raynor joining us today for the leadoff spot of Women Wednesday. Annette, thank you for being with us. And Annette is the Chief Operating Officer of Kuvera International. And she's also, she's the founder of Kuvera, and she's the Chief Operating Officer of Investview. You might remember just a week or so ago, I was talking about Investview and their educational products and the great things they're doing right on this show. And I thought we'd bring Annette down for Woman Wednesday to start it off for us. Annette, I've known you for a while. You are an unbelievably accomplished woman, which is very hard to do, and to get to the place that you are. Chief Operating Officer of a publicly traded company, founder of an international company with over 35,000 distributors out there. You just got back from France. Tell us all the great things you're doing, and then I want to get into how hard it is for women to get the same treatment as men. But tell us a little bit about where Kuvera is heading.
Well, thanks for having me. First of all, I'm really excited to be here. And, you know, a lot of this, believe it or not, was not planned. It wasn't a direct road here. There were a lot of things that had to happen for us to arrive, being publicly traded, being international. And a lot of times it wasn't a decision of any one of us on the inside. But what drives us really is the objective, the overall goal. And the goal of the company is to give access to individuals everywhere, regardless of their background, their income, wherever they are, access to the information they need to be on a level playing field when it comes to managing their money and investing. There's no reason why you have to be born into money. You can learn how to cultivate whatever money you have. And that's the overall objective of what we're doing. Education is one component. We're marrying technology to education. And now with the advances in technology, we're able to reach anyone, anywhere who has a smartphone. As long as they have an internet connection, we can deliver in real time.
So you guys, you go out there and teach people about a number of strategies. You're a registered investment advisor. I am not. Do not take any financial advice from me. This show is for entertainment purposes when I'm talking, but when we have real experts in here, listen, educate yourself, make yourself aware of what's happening out there. Thanks to technology, and that it used to be, you know, you got to get a phone call from your broker and whatever he told you, you hoped was true. But now these people can connect in real time, and you guys have town halls and you have these grand meetings where everybody comes down, and it's really like amazing for the individual investor these days, and you guys are advocating big for that.
Absolutely. I think that's why we're committed to our distribution model. We are a network marketing model, multi-level marketing or word of mouth. And at first, I was a little concerned about using that distribution model simply because of some of the bad press that it has. But once you get inside the model and you understand how it works, there's nothing stronger than a group of people who are supporting one another. One of the hardest things to do is to change how you do something. Having a built-in support structure as you start that process to learn how to manage things yourself, it's just an awesome self-fulfilling prophecy.
Absolutely.
This model.
So, Annette, if I understand correctly, what you guys do is multi-level marketing for financial literacy and financial education?
That's correct.
So, the thing that's always made me scratch my head about multi-level marketing models, and maybe this is in part why they have a poor reputation, whether it's Amway or Ambit Energy, things like that, is the model seems to largely depend on getting more and more sellers, irrespective of the supply and demand for that particular product. Why is that not the case with what you guys are doing?
It doesn't matter what network marketing company they are. It all comes down to the bonus plan. How do you compensate people? Those are the types of activities you'll get based upon how you compensate. A person who is just joining our company has the ability to become our largest distributor. There is nothing preventing them. It's not like they had to join years ago and being at the top is not possible. That's not the case with us. You can join and you get paid for your efforts and what you're able to do. So the bad rap comes in when there are companies who don't necessarily have the demand for the product, but people are just placing orders or signing people up to create an income that's not real.
Right. And Frank, I think one of the things people overlook is just a couple of years back, Carl Icahn said that multi-level marketing is the new entrepreneurship because individuals can empower themselves. So when you got a guy like Carl Icahn saying that that's a new model for entrepreneurship, I like that. And the thing that they're selling, that other companies like Amway and Ambit, is they're selling knowledge. Okay, so these companies are selling products, and distributors have a commitment to buy a certain amount of product every month, and it starts piling up in their garage, and the sales are not real.
So if people sign up, they're not going to end up with a garage full of financial textbooks that they don't sell.
Absolutely not. We don't deliver anything. As a matter of fact, everything is delivered electronic. You only sign up for 30 days. You have to renew every 30 days. So I say to everybody the same thing. Take us for all we're worth. Come in, learn everything that we have.
If people want to sign up, where can they go?
They would, if they had to contact the company, we would push them off to the distributor that's closest to them. But everyone comes through one of our distributors.
So, and the website where they can find out where their distributor is Kuvera site?
It's KuveraGlobal.com to learn more about Investview. Kuvera products. You could also visit Investview.com and learn about all of our subsidiaries because we are a family of companies, of which financial education is just one part of them.
So, Annette, we're going to hopefully have you back many more times to tell us all the great things that are happening. We're going to be talking about Investview and Kuvera all the time. And if you want to know more about Investview, look it up. Ida, Nancy, Victor, Uncle is the symbol. Stay right there. Liquid Lunch, Women Wednesday, back right after this.